Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good lunch, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to BSC News Live. We're live every weekday, 7 p.m. UTC, obviously on our Twitter, which you could be watching from now, or on our YouTube. If you'd like to interact with the event, it's probably best to do it from YouTube. If you can use the super chat function as well, use that and we'll be able to display your messages on screen. But welcome to BSC News Live and Crypto's Got Talent. It's a very, very special event with 4 very special guests, which I'll introduce very shortly. However, I'd just like to quickly mention our sponsor, who is obviously not BSC News, Bloxroot, and they offer a product which is called BSC Protect RPC, which is a custom RPC URL completely free of charge to retail customers, consumers like myself, and perhaps you as well, that prevents you and guarantees you getting, mitigates the risk 100% from front running and also sandwich attacks, which do happen. You might have seen a huge trade before and after your trade using DeFi, and essentially that's a person or a bot abusing your trade, basically. So to mitigate front-running sandwich attacks, all you need to do is add this BSC Protect custom RPC URL, and you're done, and that's it. So thank you very much to Bloxroot once again for sponsoring the whole of the live streams. Anyway, moving on to the projects that we've got with us tonight. So I'll introduce them one by one, then we'll bring them up all on the screen just to say a quick hello. So first up, we have Trader Joe. So Trader Joe, it's not an individual, by the way, it's a whole project, but I'm sure you're aware of that from our previous very interesting live stream with them. Trader Joe is a multi-chain, one-stop, decentralized trading platform supporting trading, providing liquidity, farming, staking, NFT trading, and also lending. They are currently available on Avalanche, Arbitrum, and BNB chain, and have a 24-hour trading volume consistently over $100 million. On top of this, they also boast their NFT marketplace and launchpad, JoePegs, which we'll be looking at later in the stream as well, I think. Next guest we have on is the notorious Viking from Valhalla, Floki. So Floki, they're self-described as the people's cryptocurrency and the utility token of the Floki ecosystem. It is a cryptocurrency birthed by fans and members of the Shiba Inu SHIB community and inspired by and named after Elon Musk's Shiba Inu. They boast an NFT gaming metaverse called Valhalla, which we'll have a look at shortly as well, a suite of decentralized finance products launched under the Floki umbrella, an NFT merchandise marketplace called Floki Places, a content and education platform called University of Floki, and a whopping market cap of around $300 million. Very good. Next up is Binary X. So Binary X, listed on Binance. Binary X aims to introduce high quality games to Web3 and the metaverse. They develop their own games such as Cyber Chess, Boss Raid, and the new Project Matthew, and also Cyberland, which we're going to be, Project Matthew we'll be looking at later on in the stream as well. They're constantly reassessing and optimizing the tokenomic models of their games to provide a good gaming experience to all of their users. And next up is the fourth guest that we have is ApeSwap. ApeSwap is a redefined decentralized finance platform boasting a growing network of 37 communities that are building project-owned liquidity through treasury bills. On top of this, they have a current TVL of $70 million, 248 partnerships, a total volume of $18 billion, and operate on 5 different chains. They offer multiple DeFi tools such as lending and also the ApeSwap Pro platform that supports leverage and futures contracts. So those are our 4 star-studded heavyweight guests that we've got with us tonight, and I'm just going to bring them up all on screen now. So yeah, that's all of us. So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for being here again. It should be a great event. Have you got anything to say before we begin?
Very excited and happy to be here. Thanks for hosting us.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Thanks so much for having us on tonight.
Fantastic. Good. Well, yeah, should be good fun. Anyway, yeah, we look forward to seeing your projects in more detail. So first category that we're going to look at is the user experience of your platform or of your site. And as the order that I've just done previously, we'll stick with that just to make things a little bit easier. So first up, I'll just take these away, is Blue from Trader Joe. So Trader Joe, I'm just going to bring up your the Trader Joe platform just so we can see what's going on the Trader Joe website. Obviously, you've got a lot of products on Trader Joe and not just that trading platform that I popped up. But yeah, if you could tell us about the user experience on Trader Joe, that would be fantastic. Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much, Tom, and hi to everyone tuning in or listening. Yeah, so basically what you see in front of you now is the Trader Joe platform, and the core kind of mission of Trader Joe is to make DeFi easy for the average Joe. So user experience is a huge focus for us, and everything that we build is built from the ground up. So we're really trying to ensure that when somebody lands on our platform, they can perform any DeFi action as efficiently as possible. So for example, trading, which we're very much known for, you can pretty much land on the trading page and perform a trade with as little as 3 clicks. So why is our mission to really kind of drive DeFi and make it as easy as possible? Well, we see problems in this space that DeFi is very confusing. It's scary for many first timers. The fact that users have full accountability for their transactions, their assets, it's quite overwhelming. So when you're interacting with DeFi for the first time, despite it being empowering, it's ultimately scary. And so delivering a great user experience and providing just a really intuitive UI that helps the flow of users perform all of the DeFi transactions that they want is super important to ensuring that users are having a good kind of a streamlined experience. So user experience is just huge for us. It's a massive focus in our product development. And what you'll see in our platform is, we connect a number of different protocols that we've built from scratch. It's all, there are no integrations, there are no third-party services attached. Everything on our platform is of our own build, and we keep our UI super clean, and you've been clicking around there and you can pretty much see that it's free of noise, it's free of clutter, the necessities are there, and that just really all of that together just helps to improve how a user can interact and sort of empower themselves within the world of DeFi. There are small kind of differences that there's no enter app button. This is such a commonplace on other platforms. We don't have any of those things like that. It's pretty much you land straight on the platform and you can start trading with just 3 clicks. I guess just to caveat, there are a couple of what looks like external links on Farm and Lens. We're kind of just transitioning our V1 front end to our V2, so that's why there's a couple of what looks like external links. But on that full V2 front end, you'll basically be able to access all of our products straight away in just a few clicks. And yeah, that's it really. That's kind of, that's pretty much how the platform is tied together. That is, why we focus on ensuring users have such a great kind of user experience on there. And I think that's why we've really managed to build such a solid community and user base, because people just generally love coming to our platform and diving into DeFi, and that's what we offer them.
Epic. Thank you. Yeah, and I do agree. It's very easy to use. And I did notice that, there was no launch app button, because on 90% of platforms, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing at all, but there's sort of top right, launch app, enter app, and you'll be taken to not a different website, but different window to do these transactions. But it's simple. You land at traderjoexyz.com, and that's it. No clutter. It's all good. So thank you very, very much, Blue, for the overview of Trader Joe. Thank you.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Good. So that was Trader Joe. Very interesting. So next up is Floki. So Floki, 2 seconds. I will just bring you up on screen here. So we have Cobra Kai from Floki. Welcome firstly to the stream, Cobra Kai. Fantastic to have you here. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about your user experience for Floki? And I put your little screen share as well on the screen.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. First of all, it's great to be here, and we love to tell Floki's story. That's my favorite thing to do. So we'll go with our website first. We have multiple dApps, but this is Floki.com, and it's an important site. When Floki was launched back in June of 2021, the initial dev abandoned the project, and at that time the community took over, and Floki.com wasn't on our website at the time. We actually had was like the FlokiEnu.com. We knew way back then that we were going to build a global brand, so the team went to work, and our core team, which is Saber, Mr. Brownwell, B, and Jackie, and then Lintern, our community manager, who you see here. That's when they stepped in and took over this project about 2 years ago. They bought Floki.com. It was a battle to get this site, but they knew they wanted it because they knew that we would be building a global brand. So if I'm audible okay, I'd like to just do a little 40-second commercial. This was an ad that aired on the US, in the US and in Turkey, and I think it's the best 40 seconds that we can do to learn about Floki. So here we go.
It all. From meme to utility, Floki has it all. Our flagship NFT metaverse game called Valhalla. Floki University for crypto education. DeFi, charity, and shopping. Floki has something for everyone. Governed by the people, for the people. Now available on Wobi and over 20 more other exchanges. Floki. Together, there is no stopping us.
Okay, so I guess you guys could hear that. So that was a spot that we ran in February of 2022, actually. So it's been over a year ago, and it needs a little updating. We're now on 70 exchanges, roughly, instead of just 20. And it talks about our ecosystem. So Floki has a robust ecosystem. The main thing to know about Floki is Valhalla. So Valhalla is our flagship utility. It is a play-to-earn NFT metaverse. It's the most innovative game that's ever been built in crypto. It has 67 smart contracts currently operating on it that allow the player to own every asset within the game. It's really, really cool. I'm really, really excited about it, and I hope that I'll get to show you guys it in just a little bit as we play. So also, we've got FlokiFi Locker, and FlokiFi Locker is a liquidity locker and so much more. I'm going to click into it just now, and I think I'm going to have to switch the tabs. So FlokiFi Locker is a liquidity locker, but it also is good for personal assets. If you want to stock away crypto for retirement or for your children, you can lock it here without giving away a seed phrase. You can have an NFT key to get to that. This is the first quarter in operation. You'll see that we have a little over $30 million locked there already. Trader Joe, who just spoke here, is a partner of FlokiFi Locker. So they will refer new IGOs that want to lock their liquidity to FlokiFi Locker, as well as you see ApeSwap right there. So this tool is a revenue generator, and it's something that we are very, very excited about because it's out there working for Floki all the time. And then also we've got Floki Places, which is our merchandise store, which I'll look at here in a little bit, hopefully, University of Floki, and our NFT collections. As you move through the site, our site's really intuitive. You're going to see updates, the things that are happening live right now in Floki. All of your information that you could ever want to know about Floki is right here on Floki.com. Something that's really important, if I want to hammer home any point, and then I'll finish here about Floki, is that we are a global brand with a culture and with values, and our three pillars speak directly to what Floki is. The first one being community. We have nearly 450,000 holders now on DEX alone. Our mission is to make Floki the most popular crypto in the world. We're known for our epic social media raids. If you've ever been on Twitter, you've seen the Floki Vikings out there. Just come into our Telegram. If you click this button here that says join community, you will enter a world like you've never been in crypto before. It's a great place to get education, but also to learn about Floki. Utility, we just talked about the ecosystem, and we'll dive more into that. But this part right here is very, very important. We firmly believe that the blockchain is no good if it does no good, that crypto is no good if we do no good with it. And Floki is dedicated to making real world change. Among other initiatives where we donated over $1.4 million to food insecurity, we've pledged to build a state-of-the-art school, first on every continent and then in every underdeveloped nation of the world. So far, Guatemala, Ghana, Laos, and Nigeria are home to Floki schools. We're very, very proud of that. I hope that you guys will visit the site at Floki.com, because really we don't have enough time in one of these formats to cover everything, but you'll be able to see everything you need to know if you just go to Floki.com. Thank you.
Apologies, I closed the wrong window then, but thank you very, very much, Cobra Kai, for all of that. Obviously, you have a vast product offering, and thank you, just for showing us the tip of the iceberg of some of your very interesting, projects and platforms. Thank you, Cobra Kai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next up, we have Binary X. So 2 seconds, I will just bring up Binary X. So from Binary X, we have Rudy. So firstly, Rudy, welcome to Crypto's Got Talent. It's fantastic to have you here. I've got a few screen shares here for you. Shall I bring up the screen share of Project Matthew?
I think you can just go to our main site.
Okay, no problem at all. Let's do that. Hold on just a moment. Fantastic. So on the screen now is, Binary X. And if you could tell us a little bit about the user experience of Binary X, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. So I think for Binary X, we are a game platform. So we do have multiple games, and our audience is actually pretty diverse. So we started out in the Web3 space. Many of them are very attuned to, crypto wallets, connecting their wallets, creating their wallets even. And over time, we actually build up capabilities as well as, hiring a bigger Web2 traditional gaming developers to develop more complex games. In general, we believe that we can add more diversity into Web3 gaming. As one of the earliest projects before the summer, we have since pivoted from our first game, which is Cyber Dragon. And now we actually have 2 games live, as well as 1 in beta test. So the game we are talking about is Project Matthew. So if you could just go under games.
Of course,
Click on the Matthew beta test. So we are doing a closed beta right now. You can actually sign up through this link. And we are opening up more slots for players right now. The game is currently only available on Windows. In terms of user experience for this game, I think this is one of the most complex games we have built so far in terms of catering to the different range of users we have. They can be super casual or super competitive. They will find something to do in this game. Secondly, when we talk about user experience, that include, how users start playing the game. How punishing is it to, just fool around in the game as you begin? as well as how balanced it is, as you go into the late stages of the game. I think you might have heard the term sustainability a lot last year around the GameFi space. To me, I think longevity is a better word to think about, right? So if you think about your favorite game, there is good replayability, there's good complexity and progression as you play. Be it something like Counter-Strike or Dota, that is a standalone game, to something like an MMO like World of Warcraft. These are games that have longevity built into them in terms of that progression, that complexity. So this game, we actually design it such that, even if you are a free-to-play player, extremely casual, there's something for you to do, then there will be something that you will be interested, hopefully, in the different games or mini games within this game. But in general, I think it's sophisticated, as well as leverage a lot on tokenomics, as well as other game design principles that we have picked up along the way. So I think the visual is also something very fresh to us. It's something very different from the previous games that we have created before. Yeah.
Most definitely. And from what's on the screen now, apologies, I shared just the website before, but now I've got the slideshow in front of me. From what we can see on the screen, it looks very, very impressive indeed. So thank you very much, Rudy, for the overview, and also explain to us about the user experience. 2 seconds, apologies, I'm just going to close that. Of Binary X. Thank you very much, Rudy. We'll get back to you very soon, hopefully, to have a look more in depth at Project Matthew. Thank you. Okay, and next up, we have ApeSwap, and from ApeSwap, 2 seconds, we have Tars. So, hello, Tars. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Always well, thank you. And even better to be here. This is my dream come true. 4 ultimate projects. I'm having a good time. Obviously, if you'd like to share your screen, you're more than welcome to as well. But if you could tell us a little bit about the user experience of ApeSwap, that would be grand.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if this shares here. Can you guys see what I'm looking at?
Yes, sir. It's up on the screen.
Amazing. So this is the home page of ApeSwap. Before we dive into some of the specifics of the user experience, just a quick little bit of background. Like you mentioned at the top, we are a DEX originally launched on the BNB chain, as you can see here, now available on 5 chains in total. And honestly, one of our highest purposes, if you will, when we first launched the DEX, was to focus heavily on the security side of things and making sure that anyone that we are working with or promoting, as you'll see as I go through the website, we promote our partners very heavily. But first, we want to make sure that we do, extreme due diligence, because before we can even worry about the user experience in the first place, we need to make sure that anything that's, even including the partner tokens that we're hosting for our users, are as safe and secure as possible. So that's sort of how the DEX was originated. And then we've gone through, we were launched originally in February of 2021. So it's been just over 2 years and gone through many iterations of the home page here. And this page that we're looking at right now is actually brand new. We just launched this home page. I think it's either today or yesterday, to be honest. And the main reason why is because as a DEX, and we'll get into this a bit later, but we're doubling down on one of our products that we call treasury bills that you can see here. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the user experience. As you can see, we want to make sure that anything going on within our ecosystem is super accessible to our users, as far as being able to see what's going on. So as you can see, we do have a scrolling list of the different things that users can get involved in, whether it's talking about the fact that we launched on Arbitrum or new treasury bills for different clients on different chains, so on and so forth. You can see a BNB one here, Polygon, Arbitrum, Polygon, so on and so forth. So really excited about that. We do like to highlight some of the best yield opportunities that are available on the website, just to make sure that the users are available at a glance or are aware at a glance. Of course, talking about our core values, really appreciated what Floki was talking about there, about their core values and sort of the pillars that hold them up. These are ours as well. I think it is very important to sort of have a North Star that your project can always kind of point back to and say, look, this is why we do what we do. And, this is ours we make sure we have it right here on our front page. And then last but certainly not least, we do have our launch calendar as one of my favorite spots, because users can see all of the different exciting things that are coming up. We can see tomorrow, there's a phenomenal project, OG project from 2017 called Orbs that we're going to be working with and listing their token tomorrow, talking about our emissions, the fall, as well tomorrow as well. We got trivia on Sundays on social media, things like that. So really exciting. But one of the things that Trader Joe touched on, I believe, was that DeFi can be complicated, right? And so when it comes to a user experience, we want to make sure that for our users, especially the ones who might be new to DeFi, that they have access to information about how all of this works, no matter what type of product they want to get interested in using. So first and foremost, you'll see when I go to connect my wallet here, I hit this connect button, and the very first thing that's going to come up is a small tutorial on what this actually means. Because a brand new user, I mean, if you think back to your earliest days in DeFi, remember how intimidating this moment can be. So first things first, we just make it nice and easy. So I'll just go ahead and click MetaMask there. So now that we're connected, we can see numerous things. So one thing, users, especially new users, they might be thinking, well, how the heck do I get money here in the first place? Well, we want to make it as easy for them as possible. So they just click this button here. They can pop up the little MoonPay modal here and go from fiat into crypto directly right on the home page. And then we start getting involved in the DeFi ecosystem. Beyond that, some users, we do have a very international community. And so a lot of our users, English is not going to be their first language. And so when we're talking about things that are already complex enough, it makes it even harder if they have to do it in a language that isn't native to them. So we do have this tab available here, in which we did a deep dive into figuring out where do we have the most active user bases, and then have made the website translatable into those various languages. But now I want to get into what we get really excited about is the various tutorials that are available. So you'll see, pretty standard DeFi stuff like staking pools. To someone who's been in DeFi for a while, very simple. To someone who's new, not simple. So you just simply click this tutorial button and it'll walk them through step by step how to get involved. From buying the tokens to staking the tokens to collecting their rewards. You go to the banana maximizers, you're going to get a custom tutorial for this. Take you through step by step. Our most complex product, which we'll get into later, is the treasury bills, but we have very easy, user-friendly, step by step through. And I realize I'm going a little long, so I'll speed through here. But one other thing that I do really want to highlight is in the swap itself. One of the things that we realized is that as a DEX, when users are here and they're on the DEX, they want to be able to trade their tokens. And at the end of the day, we do want to provide them with the best trading experience that we can. And so, as a biz dev team, we do our best to work with projects and to build up strong liquidity. But in reality, we might not always have the best liquidity pool for one of the tokens that one of our users wants to purchase. And so what our devs did is they developed what we call the smart router. And basically the smart router is a secondary router that is sort of, plugged in. And what happens is, if a user wants to buy a token that we don't have sufficient liquidity for, it's going to bypass our LPs. It's going to find a sufficient liquidity pool on another DEX. It's going to facilitate that trade. And then what else it's going to do is activate what we call the bonus router. And the bonus router is a very clever, essentially arbitrage bot that looks for arbitrage opportunities that might open up when this trade happens, and then it splits the profit of that arbitrage opportunity 50-50 with the user who initiated the trade in the first place. So we try and it's complex stuff and kind of in the background, but we try and make it as easy for the user to be able to just trade the tokens they want and benefit from the arbitrage that they're creating. So yeah, that's kind of ApeSwap at a high level. And yeah, we'll get into some of the nitty gritty here soon.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very, very much. And I think what you're offering on the site, in terms of tutorials and sort of explaining how the system works as you go through, is very useful. I remember the first time that I used DeFi and I swapped tokens. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I swapped the tokens, and then I didn't see anything. The classic phrase, there's nothing in my MetaMask wallet now. I just didn't add the token there. I didn't know that BSC scan existed. I literally just thought I sent my crypto into the abyss. It was gone. So yeah, I think what you're offering is really good. So thank you very, very much for that overview. Thank you. If you're interested as well in what Taz was saying there, a little bit about arbitrage as well as MEV or MEV bots, the live stream that we did last night with Bloxroot goes into that in incredible detail. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, there's a video on our channel on YouTube from yesterday evening that you'll be able to check out. Anyway, moving on now to innovation. So this is where projects, so Trader Joe, Floki, Binary X, and also ApeSwap, if you can show, what's stand out in your platform, what are you doing differently from other platforms, and what are you innovating, what are you building that's a sort of the unique selling point of your project? I know that perhaps you've already introduced quite a lot of it, but yeah, if you could tell us some innovations that perhaps you're working on, or how your platform is innovative, that would be fantastic. And we go back to Blue from Trader Joe, who's got a very nice accent, by the way. So welcome back, Blue. Good to have you here.
You have a very nice accent as well, Tom.
Oh, too kind. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I've got some links here as well to bring up, which I'm just about to, about your liquidity books. But if you want to tell us a little bit about innovation at Trader Joe, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. And maybe actually a better link would just be to go to the pool page on the DEX, and then just clicking into a liquidity pool.
Okay.
I can direct maybe. Actually, come out of that one. Oh, you want to be chain? That's fine. Yeah, come out of that.
Okay.
And then if you go to, let's go to Radiant BNB, just below it. So they're managing their position. So, and then you may want to go onto analytics as well, because it will just help visualize it. But so basically innovation. So I'm going to talk about Liquidity Book, which is a novel protocol that we invented and built. It offers a hybrid automated market maker and limit order book kind of experience. Some big words there. It may get a bit technical. I'll try and keep it as high level as possible. But essentially, what this AMM offers, Liquidity Book, for the first time in DeFi as a liquidity provider, you can deploy any type of liquidity strategy. And what you've got right in front of you there is a pool distribution. You can kind of zoom out on that. It helps to kind of visualize. It's a relatively small pool, so maybe that's not the best one, but essentially what you can see on the UI, if you want to go back one page, and then click into another pool.
Joe BNB.
That's it. So that you've got some liquidity shapes there. So basically, I'm going to talk about 2 key points of why Liquidity Book is so innovative in the space. So what you can see on the UI there are some specific liquidity shapes that you can deploy as a liquidity provider. And you've got some preset ones there, curve, bid, ask, wide, and then you've got spot as well. And that spot liquidity shape is something that you can use to really customize your strategy when providing liquidity. Now, this level of customization and versatility can truly empower liquidity providers to essentially execute any strategy that they want to. So you can provide single-sided liquidity to enter a token or exit a token at no cost and your own fees doing so. You can set up really wide positions or really concentrated positions to massively increase your capital efficiency over more traditional automated market makers that are in DeFi. And this is all possible thanks to Liquidity Book, right? So the best part about this flexibility and customization is you can also adapt it on the fly as well. So you can essentially deploy your strategy, and maybe the market conditions change and you just kind of want to adjust some of your liquidity, or maybe you just want to add more liquidity on top of your existing liquidity. That's possible thanks to the Liquidity Book, because everything is fungible. You simply cannot do this on any other AMM in DeFi, even other concentrated liquidity solutions such as Uniswap V3 is very popular, and that's because liquidity on other types of concentrated liquidity solutions are non-fungible. So the way that Liquidity Book stacks liquidity in its underlying architecture means that all positions are fungible, and as a liquidity provider, you have complete customization and flexibility with how you're deploying your strategy, and that ultimately helps you to execute more kind of granular strategies to increase your yield potential, and help you to react to the very volatile market that I'm sure we're used to. So that's one of the key points. In the interest of time, I'll readily scoot over to the next kind of key feature I want to highlight for this show, and that is, it's not just the architecture which is innovative. We've also built on top of that a novel feature that we call a volatility accumulator. So this measures volatility in a liquidity pool, and basically that specific feature adds on an additional what we call a variable fee on top of a base fee. It adds on that variable fee to traders that are causing volatility in the liquidity pool. So maybe a trader comes along, they make a really big trade, and it's causing volatility in the pool because it's changing the price in the liquidity pool. Well, in other concentrated liquidity solutions, the trader pays the same price regardless of the size. They'd always pay, for example, a 0.1% fee or 0.2% fee, etc. But Liquidity Book has a variable fee that makes traders pay slightly more if they're causing a lot of volatility in a liquidity pool. And that's because the volatility that happens in a liquidity pool essentially can cause impermanent loss to those liquidity providers. So a variable fee is attached. It's an instantaneous measurement. That's how kind of innovative this kind of tracker that we have in the liquidity pool. So it measures it instantaneous. There's no lagging kind of application. It's on the exact trade that causes the volatility. And basically this helps to generate more yield for a liquidity provider. Liquidity Book helps to boost liquidity providers' profitability chances, which ultimately creates a more sustainable environment. We'd like to say a healthy liquidity provider is a happy liquidity provider, and that's thanks to the innovations of Liquidity Book. It's both a case of they've got complete customization to adjust granular levels of their strategy or adjust the whole thing, and they're also able to earn more thanks to this novel volatility, this novel variable fee that's attached onto trades. And so yeah, that's it. So Liquidity Book launched in December. It's live on Arbitrum, Avalanche, BNB, and it's really picking up steam at the moment on Arbitrum. We're really happy with how it's kind of impacting the trading environment on Arbitrum. It seems that many people are enjoying both of these features that I've just talked about.
Fantastic. Thank you. And listeners, if you are interested as well in finding out more about that in a lot more depth, we've done a live stream with Trader Joe. I think it was maybe a month ago or so. So if you scroll back on our YouTube, you'll be able to see that in a lot more detail. But I think there's a lot of people that probably aren't aware how effective 2 seconds liquidity shapes perhaps are. If you just provide liquidity without doing, concentrated or distributed liquidity, essentially you're providing liquidity for the whole exponential curve of values across a trading pair. But then, for example, if we look at USDC and USDT, we can see that there's not much liquidity in this area. And if we switch that around as well, it's I think roughly the same. So in my eyes, this is my personal opinion, and of course not financial advice whatsoever. But I might want to, perhaps make a shape like this. So everyone's concentrated their liquidity pretty much at the pegged mark of $1. But then if it were to wick outside of that and depeg, I'm providing maybe the liquidity there. And just to make sure that that was sort of along the lines of correct, is that correct, Blue? I don't want to say something that's just completely wrong there.
Yeah, so when you concentrate your liquidity, well, previous dexes you would deposit liquidity and it's automatically put over a price curve of $0 to infinity. It's nice and spread out, and that helps the AMM always facilitate trading. Whereas in a concentrated liquidity dex such as Liquidity Book, you define your price range, so you can narrow it down to 99 cents to $1.01 for a stable swap such as you've got there, so USDC and USDT. You can concentrate your assets within that specific price range because you would do that as you would assume that most of the trading for those stables will happen around those prices. And that means, because you can maximize your efficiency by placing your assets all into that specific price range instead of having it spread out from 0 to infinity, you can greatly enhance your assets efficiency in terms of the yield that you can generate from that.
Most definitely. Well, thank you very much. Again, Trader Joe, or Blue, as they also call you. And listeners, if you'd like to learn more about that in detail, there is a live stream. If you just scroll back on our videos, that you'll be able to watch. But thank you very much, Blue, and we'll come back to you again very soon. Thank you. Next up, we have the one, the only Cobra Kai from Floki. Floki, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about innovation within Floki, that would be fantastic. I'll share your screen as well.
Sure. So I mentioned at the top of the hour that we're building Valhalla. It was first written down in a white paper in September of 2021. And here's the game as it sits today in alpha. Anyone can play the game. It is free to play, free. We have a huge event coming up on Easter, a play to earn event. If it's anything like the last one that we had, where we gave away $30,000 in Floki tokens, as we had a special bonfire event there. So the first thing I would say is just play the game. The proof is in the pudding. You can go to Floki.com or you can go to Valhalla.game. You can see, you may not be able to see my URL here, but it's just Valhalla.game. But if you go to Floki.com, it's got directions on how to play. All you need is a PC, a MetaMask, and some free testnet tokens. And you too can have your very own Mushy. So you may see Mushy standing here. I'm going to tell you why we're innovative. Mushy is an NFT. She was actually created when I answered some questions when I got into the game. And based on that, I got to pick her skin color, her hair color, her shirt color. I didn't know I was doing that, but as I answered those questions, she was minted on the blockchain. As I said, there are over 67 smart contracts in Valhalla as we speak. It's going to be much more by the time it's finished, but how does the Floki token matter? Well, you'll need a little bit of it to play first of all, but you'll also use the Floki token to make all of your in-game purchases. So here you can see B Shop, and there are all kinds of items here that you can purchase. That's not open right now on the game. That's a secret. But when it goes live on mainnet, that's where you'll spend your Floki tokens. When you spend your Floki tokens in Valhalla, we know that most games built to date have not had a balanced economy. They've not been able to make it work. Those tokens will go back into the treasury for other players to earn. But more importantly, you own everything in Valhalla. One thing that I own is this little hat that you see up here in the top left corner. That is one of my Vira, and the Vira are the magical creatures in Valhalla. As we know, when Vikings die, they go to Valhalla. This is heaven for the Vikings, and we have magical creatures. So as I explore the open world here, you're able to interact with other players. It's a full metaverse. Hopefully we're going to see one here shortly. There are non-playable characters like this gentleman here who talks to me. I've got the volume turned off right now, but it's important to note that the music in Valhalla is, in my opinion, the most developed and the coolest part about it. We have over 20, I believe, trademarked or copyrighted, whatever you do with music, soundtracks, and they are incredible. So as I explore the open world here, you'll see that it's a big space, and there will be islands that you can explore. You'll do that with your ship. So there's the Viking ships down there. It's a clan-based game. The clans are actually on the blockchain, up to 30 players, and you will have long ships. You will have your own clan islands. Perhaps that's a clan island out there in the distance where you and your friends hang out. You go in there, you figure out what your daily tasks are, you go raid another clan's territory, you can farm resources, those are also NFTs, all on the blockchain, and you get to explore Valhalla. So let me see really quickly, because I know that we are crunched on time, and I want to give some time back to you here if I can. Let's see if we can encounter Avira really quickly. This is a non-playable character. She's just hanging out on the bridge there. I don't know what she's doing. There was a guy in here earlier, Havgard. This is the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is the place where you find the most powerful Vera typically right now in the alpha. And Mushy's pretty strong. She's got some strong characters. So I'm going to dig around here a little bit and see if I can't have myself a Vera encounter. It's kind of like Pokemon Go in that sense that you're exploring the world here and you're trying to come across a Vera. And I hope that I'm able to find one. There's Havgard, my buddy. So he's one of my clan mates. Hi, Havgard. I don't know if you're watching, but I can wave to him. See, and I can do a little dance too. The journal there is how you name your character. Your name is also saved on the blockchain. So there's Havy and I dancing. And you can see that I've sighted Avira. So let's go ahead and fight. When I select fight, right now what's happening is my MetaMask popped up. I don't have that screen shared, but I just confirmed that transaction in my MetaMask. And it is minting a NFT right now, a Avira that's never been seen before. And that Vera is going to pop up right here. It's a hat. It's a blue hat. There are 9 quadrillion variations of that blue hat, and there are 9 quadrillion variations of my Hushroom. Their skins, you can see they got socks, they've got tattoos, they've got armbands. Their stats like power and defense and health. Their personality, their rune. I have a rune, it's green. Hat is a hail rune. Abilities that I can take into space. So let's fight him. As Vera, you can level up, and the stronger your Vera, the more rare the NFT is, the more valuable and more powerful it might be to another player. But most importantly, you can battle your friends. It has PvP on the blockchain. If I wanted to battle a friend, all I would need to do is challenge them head to head, paste their wallet address in, and it would be me versus them. The battle arena. So this is the battle arena. Currently, you can only fight one Vera versus one Vera. Hint, hint. In the future, that may change, and you can battle. You have control of the camera. You have control of your character. It's not a simulated battler where you pick some NFT cards and go head to head. I get to pick every move that I make. So I'm going to take a step forward here, and the AI hat is going to shoot a shot in the wrong direction because his AI does that right now. And then I'm going to continue. So each spot is a move. You can either make a move or you can choose an ability. And I decided to take one to the chin right there. This is a level 16 hat. He's pretty powerful. I'm a level 19. So he was able to take some health from me there. I'm going to continue to close the gap now. I'm not going to continue to get shot in the head like that. As you play, the ring shrinks. So it happens in phases. After the first 10 moves, it shrinks. And then it shrinks down, down, down. You're never going to end up in a situation where you aren't head to head. The music is dynamic, so I'm going to turn it on right now. Yeah. Can you hear that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this dynamic music, as I get closer and closer to killing this other Vera, this particular song is called the Men of Asgard. I have 3 different songs that I can play right now. Again, these are things that are attached to my Vera and my Viking NFTs. You can see Mushy standing over here in the background. You may be able to see her back there. Sorry, I'm not good with the camera live. So I'm going to throw a spore bomb. This is a poisonous spore bomb, and it will poison them for 300 damage each turn. And I think that the hat is going to go over here, so let's give it to him. So we've got him, and he's poisoned. You can see up here at the top, he'll be poisoned for the next 3 turns. I'm going to let the poison do its thing and kind of step back here. He'll take another shot at me. I'll let him do it because he can't kill me. He's just AI. The cool part about this is the AI actually levels up too. So if he were to beat me, then he would become stronger. And as you release your Vera, they go back into the player pool, so they battle other players. So the pool feeds off of itself, and players battle each other. And when you're battling AI, you might just be battling someone else's old Vera. He's going to shoot me again here. Now I think the ring's going to shrink. I'll show one little piece of that, and then we'll move on, because I know that I'm up against time here. Just hard to do it all in 3 or 4 minutes. So I'll taking this move, which is going to get smaller, so I'll skip my turn and let them move in here. That continues to happen until you get down to the final ring, which is just these inner circles here. When you're playing another player, it is exhilarating. It is infuriating. You will cuss at your friends. You will throw your mouse. All of those things that make a game really, really fun are present here in Valhalla. I'm going to finish off this particular hat, unless I'm bugged out. Okay. I didn't. Let me see. Oh, I want to do a spore bomb. So this is a blob barrage, I'm sorry, and you're going to see him pull on his little mushroom cap here. I'll get you a good angle, and he's going to splash and kill the hat. That should do it, I think. Yep. Now I'm just confirming another transaction in my MetaMask, and I want to show you this, if it's okay, once this transaction confirms, and then but why this is so important. Most games in Web3 have run away from the blockchain. They've hidden the blockchain. The blockchain was created. Ethereum was built because Vitalik Buterin was playing a game just like this, a game called World of Warcraft. They took away his warlock. They nerfed it. He wanted that to never happen again, so he built a blockchain called Ethereum. This game is built in that vision. If you want to look right now, I'm going to go ahead and share this screen. This is what just happened. You can see on the blockchain 26 seconds ago, I defeated that hat with my Vera. This is my wallet address. I interacted with this smart contract from Valhalla. And if I go down to see more, you'll see the transaction data here. And as I decode it, you're going to be able to see that here, my Vera is 2224, 2224. That's my Hushroom. No one else can ever have it unless I sell it to him. He is mine. Here's what I did. I stepped forward. Each one of these codes is something that happened in the match. Here's what the opponent actions were. They're all saved on the blockchain. And the result was the transaction that I confirmed at the end there. I got a 1. A 1 is good. A 1 means that I won. And a 2 means that I lost. And a 3 means that I tied. So that's it. That is Valhalla in a nutshell, over and over and over again each day. As you continue to level up your Vera, you're going to enter this battle arena with your friends or against AI and have a whole lot of fun playing a game on the blockchain that isn't just focused on a token, but is focused on user experience and changing the way that people look at Web3 games. That's
Fantastic.
Valhalla.
Thank you very much, Cobra Kai. And that was very, very impressive indeed. Yeah, really, really impressive. I'm genuinely, impressed, and I do want to play it. It does look very good. I didn't know it was that immersive. So thank you very much,
Come
Cobra
in, let's
Kai.
go head to head, man. We can stream it.
Yeah, we can, but get ready to lose. I'm very good at computer games.
Bring it.
Anyway, thank you very much, Cobra Kai. That was really, really interesting indeed. And next up, and apologies, this is going on a little bit longer than we thought it would, but obviously it's so interesting that we have to. Binary X, 2 seconds. I'm going to bring you up, Binary X. Hold on a moment. Rudy, welcome back. So I've got, hold on, I'll just bring up a quick slideshow. Rudy, if you could tell us a little bit about innovation within Binary X, that would be fantastic. And I've got the images here in front of me.
Yeah, so on the innovation end, I think aside from creating games on our end, we do want to invest in the gaming community as well. So be it you're from the traditional gaming space and wanting to incorporate blockchain technology into your games, to you have a innovative tokenomic that you want to bring the game to life, but you lack certain funding or certain strategies in terms of growth. We are there to help you. So I think you can skip this slide. So our mission is aligned on the IGO front as well. That we want to add diversity into the GameFi space. So far, we have sort of come up with a full suite of services to help project. From from idea all the way to launch, pre-launch, launch, and growth. Right? How do you hit your certain go-to-market plan, things like that. We are also looking at games in different technology areas. So VR and AR is something very big, and we are exploring as well. So one thing we are focused on at our IGO platform is really how can it benefit our users. So Binary X started about 2 years ago. We are almost 2 years old now. In May 2021, we have amassed, about 100,000 token holders. Our socials and community is way above 200,000. We have a bunch of games under our belt. There's a level of trust between the players and us, as well as, I guess, demands in terms of wanting to see, more innovative games, different style of games. Like I mentioned previously, we have super casual players and people who are always pushing for esports. So that is something that we need to balance. Assuming we can create all the different games, but that's impossible, right? In terms of talent in the space. So we do want to use our IGO platform to reach out to these games out there, or aspiring game developers. Next slide. In terms of the game creators and game developers, we draw, from our experience in different areas such as infrastructure, tokenomics, and marketing. We do, have a sidechain we can help for gaming related contracts to make it more efficient when when it loads, right? Because I think today there's sort of a delay in terms of things going on chain that might impact user experience and all. So we do have quite a long history designing smart contracts for games that we can share, as well as our marketing and growth experts in the team to really stay with people who come on our platform. So it's not just a launch and forget about it. They do have to hit targets. We are there with them from the start. And yeah, there's one last item in our IGO site. So in our white paper highlighting our transition from a single game developer into a gaming platform, GameFi platform last year, we did set aside a fund from all the revenues from our game, and this is in a Medium article. It's all public information, and this fund is it's about $20 million that we are investing in games. So like I mentioned previously, you can apply for it. We are generally looking for if you have good experience designing traditional Web2 games, if you have very innovative tokenomics that you want to bring, or you are exploring technologies such as AR or VR. So we are open to any applicants there. You can go to binaryx.pro/IGO to find all the information you need on both the launch part, launchpad, as well as the incubation program.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rudy. Yeah, no, that's very interesting indeed. And obviously, we're looking forward to your game showcase as well after this. Yeah, thank you. I think it's a very, very good launch pad. Thank you. Oh, apologies. I'm just going to turn that off. Yes, we'll come back to you shortly, Rudy. And yeah, looking forward to seeing Project Matthew in motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're on to the final part where the projects will present to us sort of a category of their choosing, what they want to show off on their platform. If you've got any questions at all, please do in the chat let us know what they are. Any questions at all for any of the projects, just type it in either the Twitter comments or YouTube. If you'd like to use the YouTube super chat, obviously we can say it a lot easier. You're more than welcome to as well. But any questions at all, please do let us know in the chat, and then we can hopefully get round to them at the end. However, innovation, there's still one more to go, obviously, and that is ApeSwap. So ApeSwap, I'm going to bring you up now. And I think ApeSwap, we're going to be looking at your treasury bills. Shall I share your screen?
Yes. Yeah. Let's. I'll go through quick for the sake of time. But yeah, I've got a few quick slides here to kind of run through what we call sustainable liquidity mining. So the backstory here, TLDR essentially is, like I said, we launched as a DEX in 2021, and we basically, at the time, were incentivizing liquidity in the same way that our predecessors had been. And what I mean by that is, pools and farms, what most people within DeFi would be familiar with. These are things where users can take their LP tokens, stake them to earn the DEX token, which in our case would be banana, and then in return can take that banana, stake it in a pool to earn a partner token. And, in a perfect world, AKA a bull market, it works really well, right? Because there's a lot of demand for tokens and so on and so forth. But what we realized was during 2022, as the bear market sort of rolled around, that, maybe it was time to change our approach. So that's what I'm presenting to you today. Sustainable liquidity mining. Essentially, this is our solution to avoid, hyperinflation and traditional liquidity mining and move in a more sustainable direction. So without further ado, I'd like to start very, very quickly, of course, with a quick little slide or a little, mention from CZ himself. So CZ says, if he sells 0.01% of the company equity to someone for $1, then the company is worth $10,000. But if he issues a coin with a 1 trillion supply and sells one of them to someone for $1, then, technically on paper, he has a $1 trillion market cap coin. However, as we know, valuations do not mean much without liquidity. What we mean by that is there's essentially some fundamental rules of tokenomics, right? So tokens only have value if you can sell them. You can't sell a token without liquidity, and token value on paper is worthless without liquidity. In other words, no liquidity means no value, right? So how did we get here in the first place? Well, if you think about it logically, a token needs liquidity when it launches so that it can be traded. So a project has limited capital, but an abundance of native tokens. So they offer it as a reward to help crowdsource that liquidity. To acquire the necessary crowdsource liquidity, we all have to compete to offer farmers the highest APYs. And if you fast forward, we've been doing this as an industry now for about 3 years, and we're still using the same models. And a lot of projects are starting to run out of tokens, DEXs included. Most people know this as yield farming, and a lot of projects would know this as liquidity mining. So where do we go from here? Well, ApeSwap believes that it's very, very important to help our partners as well as ourselves go from renting liquidity to owning liquidity. So the whole idea here is, instead of spending your emissions on constant, essentially incentivizing users to stake LPs in a farm, instead of constantly spending emissions on that, the goal here is to invest your emissions so that you can control your inflation and thus help stabilize your token price, and in a perfect scenario, help it go up. And so essentially the security of owning your liquidity is going to be long-term sustainability. And so projects as well as their communities get to gain several things, right? Secure trading environments, price support, treasury capitalization, increased volume, better slippage, ability to do single asset raises in the future, which we'll get into in our next section, of course, but several benefits. So essentially, We have yet to identify a single downside of a protocol actually owning their own liquidity as opposed to renting it. So what we do is what we call sustainable liquidity mining, like I said at the beginning. So what we do is we help projects build protocol-owned liquidity, also known as POL, through this SLM program. We do this by transitioning a project from short-term renting to long-term owning, or simply what we like to call rent to own. So you can kind of see here in this graph, obviously nothing is as clean as this in reality, but the whole goal here is when a project first launches, we want to start them with an initial
Tars,
renting program.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm just going to quickly stop you there. So we can't see a graph, so you might need to change the tabs you're sharing. So at the moment, it's sort of not stuck, but it's showing. I think there we go. Perfect.
My apologies. I don't think the animations are coming through. So I'll just go through it a little bit more crudely, but it'll be better that way. So my apologies. There's probably some details that were missed on earlier slides, but no worries. We'll truck on. So yeah. So in this graph, in a perfect world, what we would do is when a project first launches or comes to our decks, we would start them off with initial renting. The reason being is, as I'm sure most people watching are aware of, when a farm first opens up and nobody's staking into it, even if there's only $1 of rewards, technically those rewards are massive APR in comparison to the amount staked. So when a farm first opens up, it attracts lots of liquidity providers. However, the goal is to slowly transition away from having to incentivize those people to provide liquidity and instead transition that liquidity into protocol-owned liquidity. You might be wondering how we do that. Well, we do it through a product called treasury bills. So I'm really happy that Floki is also here, because Floki is actually one of our OG partners when it comes to this product in particular. You'll see on the next slide. But basically, the way that treasury bills work is it's a product that helps communities raise their own POL. And so the way that we do this is users, they take their LP tokens, they use them to purchase single asset tokens at a discount in comparison to the current market rate. And then those tokens that they're purchasing get wrapped up and placed inside of what we call a treasury bill NFT. And then those tokens within the NFT get vested over a period of time, typically between 14 to 30 days on average. So what's incredible about this system is we are aligning incentives between all of the parties involved, right? So if you think about it from the user's perspective, let's say a user has $100 worth of liquidity. Let's say it's in Seek BNB. And let's say the token Seek is trading in the treasury bill at a 10% discount. That means the user can take their $100 of liquidity, they can trade it for $110 of Seek tokens, and those tokens are going to be linearly released to that user over the next 14 days. Now, if you actually, and I'm terrible at math, so nobody asked me to do this on camera, but if you do the math on, what a 10% increase in your original position is over just 14 days, it's a fantastic return for the actual user. But then if you think about it from the protocol's perspective, they actually get to keep that $100 of liquidity that the user used to trade for those tokens. So the liquidity pool has become permanently deeper. And then you think about it from ApeSwap's perspective, we're not required to spend an egregious amount of banana tokens to incentivize liquidity to be added and become sticky onto the DEX. So the whole idea is that we can help dozens and dozens and dozens of projects. At this point, we're getting close to our 40th. We can help them go about building their own protocol-owned liquidity. And the goal here, of course, is that once a project owns enough liquidity on their own, that at that point, they can stop spending money on further liquidity, which is going to help them not inflate their token, which is going to be tremendous for their community who's already holding their token, so on and so forth. And you can see our good friends Floki right here, their logo standing proud amongst many of our other partners. And like I mentioned, of course, we do have a massive emphasis on security. And so our partners, they do trust us for the right reasons. We've worked with Paladin, one of the best auditing firms in the game, in our opinion. So they audited the code itself, as well as actually helped us author or co-author the NFT standard itself. So those NFTs that the tokens get vested inside of, we went into the market and we tried to find that NFT and see if we could just implement it into our system. And what we discovered is that NFT didn't exist. So our devs went to the drawing board with our partners Paladin and created a new NFT standard. And so if anyone is curious, you can look up EIP 5725, down here, and that will show you the official Ethereum proposal getting this NFT to become a new official standard. So we're super, super excited. And, essentially we'll go back to CZ, the man who knows what he's talking about. Don't sleep on liquidity. Liquidity is king. And, for any projects who might be in the audience or see this at another time, if anything that we just talked about kind of is speaks to you in the sense that you might be struggling with overinflating your token due to the need for liquidity, don't hesitate to reach out. This is what we specialize in, and we would love to help.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very, very much, Tars. Yeah, and apologies that the first couple of slides didn't show, but I'm pretty sure, we got a very good in-depth view of that. Thank you very much. And we'll come back to you shortly as well in the next category. Thank you. Fantastic. So up next, as I said before, is a custom category where the projects choose what they'd like to talk about. Obviously, we've overrun a little bit, but it has been very, very interesting. But yeah, on we go. Anyway, Trader Joe, you are up first. There we are. So I think, Trader Joe, you'd like to talk about JPEGs, which I'll just quickly bring up on my screen. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. JPEGs, NFT marketplace. This will be a quick one for me as well. It's just kind of it's always fun to look at JPEGs.
Oh,
it's a fun marketplace. But basically, this is it's an NFT marketplace built by Trader Joe. We launched it in the middle of 2022, and since launching, it was built and launched on Avalanche first. It's live on BNB now, but since launching it is the most popular marketplace by users, by volume on Avalanche. We deployed it on BNB chain at the end of January, so really happy to kind of bring this marketplace to the BNB ecosystem, and just like really high level, JPEGs. It really embodies the same kind of product development and user experience focus of Trader Joe, the DEX. So we've really focused on building and offering an impeccable user experience, so users can very swiftly, promptly, discover the fully immersive and broad kind of world of digital collectibles. And is that your profile?
Mine.
You got a profile there? Oh, yeah, that's the explore page. Sorry, I thought you clicked on your profile, and I was like, oh wow, you've been.
No, sorry,
JPEG.
This is the explore page. I haven't got this many NFTs.
Yeah, so I mean, you're clicking around there now, and I'm sure you can agree. It just feels, as part of the UX, it's got a dedicated back end. It feels incredibly responsive when you're clicking around. It should feel silky smooth to help you really discover the world of Web3 in its digital collectible form. And the homepage that you were kind of scrolling down before, it's all about discovery. Everything is about helping people discover. And yeah, that's kind of like one of the key aims of JPEGs is to really kind of facilitate that discovery. You're kind of scrolling through different partners that we've got there on the headline banner. You've also got the Launchpad drops. I'll talk about the Launchpad now, I guess. So we, shortly after deploying the marketplace and launching it, we then also built our own kind of custom Launchpad to obviously help projects, collections, communities, artists kind of launch their own creations into this Web3 world. So the Launchpad, it's got a great pre-mint feature as well. So projects can basically open up their launch and allow whitelisted users to access and participate in the launch via this pre-mint feature. And pre-mint basically helps to ensure that all mints for NFTs, no matter how popular they are, it helps to ensure that there's always a fair and accessible mint experience. Because I'm sure you may remember a lot of launch pads that are launching really anticipated NFTs can get botted. So we've got this pre-mint feature there to really make minting a more fair and experience, a more fair and accessible experience for all that are participating. So that's a launch pad. We've launched hundreds of projects now, raising many millions of dollars for all these projects, communities, and artists. Just last week, we had a really great mint for Cyber Titans on BNB chain. Really happy to support those guys at this, the very start of their journey. Next week, we've got Doggerinos, so dogs on Avalanche you can mint, and they are dynamic NFTs. So these dogs grow up over time. Really cool projects. So all of these types of experiences that we offer on launchpads. Homegrown artists doing their own thing to big kind of ambitious GameFi projects. We facilitate it all on JPEG. So yeah, that's a quick kind of dive into the immersive and fun world of digital collectibles on JPEGs.
Thank you very, very much, Blue. No, it's very interesting. And once again, the homepage, scrolling down it, you said, it's all about discovery. Yeah, it just makes you want to click a lot of different projects. Obviously, that's because one part, the layout that you've got, and what pops up, but also the quality of NFTs that you've got hosted there. So yeah, thank you once again for that explanation, Blue. Very, very interesting indeed. Thank you. Great. So now on to the next project, which is Floki. And Floki, 2 seconds. Cobra Kai, welcome again, sir. So Cobra Kai, I think you'd like to talk a little bit about global branding. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you, Tom. And I know that you're working overtime right now. So thank you for bearing with us here as we've gone through. It's good news when you've got projects that have so much going on that you just can't do it in, 20 minutes. So I think that we're having a good AMA here, and the listeners are very fortunate to be exposed to these kind of projects. ApeSwap's a great one. Trader Joe's a partner of Floki as well. We're trying to incorporate with great partners here in the Web3 space, but it's bigger than that. Floki's vision is much bigger. So I did want to talk about global branding. So you can see here at the top of our website, floki.com. Please navigate there, please, and do your own research, because there's a lot going on, and there's no way to cover that all in this short period of time. But you'll see that the site's translated into Chinese, Hindi, Spanish, Arabic, and Turkish. Why? Well, you see soccer players. Why does Floki have soccer players on the back of, or on the main page here of our website? That's easy. It's because it's one of the many initiatives that we are doing to spread the word about Floki, because we have a video game that's coming out called Valhalla. We also have the most innovative Web3 digital asset locker ever built. It locks ERC-115 tokens, locks NFTs in batches. You can lock your liquidity as long as you want. 69,420 years is how long we locked our liquidity with ApeSwap. So you can trade the Floki token on ApeSwap and rest assured that the liquidity is never going to get pulled unless you live until the sun burns out. So our global branding, the image that you saw up top is the Kings League. And I want to talk a little bit about the Kings League because we recently partnered with them, and more to come as the new season starts, I think. That'll be up to Saber, our legendary head of marketing, who handles all of this for us, who's obviously very well connected. We've been with 8 global football clubs. We've been in F1 racing the entire last season with Alfa Romeo. You can see here that in this final, this was just last weekend, there were over 1 million viewers live in Twitch, and this is live from that Twitch stream, Floki.com in the banner. But even more so, as we scroll down here, you'll see that we were all around the sideboards of the arena. One of our legendary Vikings posted this. This is from a recent Atletico and Barcelona game. If you are in APAC and you are a football fan and you are watching La Liga, keep your eyes peeled, I would say, because you can see that here around the sideboards, I don't know if that's big enough to see or not, but it says metaverse, it says DeFi, it says meme, it says NFT, and it says we don't do politics, we do ecosystems, Floki.com. Driving traffic to our site because it's very, very important that that you spread the word. If you're going to have a product, you need to sell it. Web3 is not in the mainstream yet. Only 6% of the people or so in the world use it. 99% of the money is still in fiat. We have cool products. We want people to use them. What's the use in building something if you don't tell people about it? And Saber is a genius at doing that. We recently sponsored the India Maharashas in the Legends League Cricket, which you'll see right here. That is Gautam Gambhir that I'm circling here. He is a member of Indian Parliament. You can see it says Floki on his shirt. They lost the tournament. It was a 10-day match, but there are 700 million cricket fans globally. It is a religion in India, for those that know. And these guys, these legends of cricket, wore a cryptocurrency, Floki, on their jerseys in a first for cricket in the Legends League. We also recently, this is, I'll do two more here really quickly. These are what we have going live right now. So we have a deal right now with Dex Tools, and with Dex Tools for the next 365 days, and a deal that's never been done before. We all know that people bought this, that they get their token to trend at the top of Dex Tools here. Well, Floki has negotiated a deal where we're just here. This is the BNB chart. If you go to any token out there on Dex Tools, doesn't matter the chain, you can click this button right here, and you will go to Floki Live Trading. I just clicked on it. Here it is here. It takes you to the Floki chart. I'm going to go back here, though, because it's not just there. We also have a banner down at the bottom. Over 140 million crypto users visit Dex Tools every year. We're going to be there for the next year. But most importantly, why? Because BNB doesn't have a lock that shows up for their liquidity here. But if you were to click on it, it says 1% of the supply is locked for 26 months. Somebody's locking up their BNB LPs. But you can see Unicrypt, Pink Sale, and of course, Floki Lock right here. This is the big one. We are now integrated with Dex Tools. So any dev that uses this site, any user that wants to see if the token is safe, if their liquidity is locked, all they need to do is click on that, and it's going to take them straight here to Flokify, and they will be able to see. So that's very, very nice. And then lastly, the last one that I want to cover, because this one is very important, I'm going to go back to our home screen. And guys, to really understand what Floki is doing here as far as building a global brand, you have to look at the history. If you go to our timeline here, you will be able to view everything that we've done from June 25th, 2021, when the token was born, to the relaunch just 2 weeks later, to our BSC launch. And then our first marketing initiative, we had a billboard in New York City Times Square back in September of 2021. How many SHIT coins have copied that move since? I don't know. But with Floki, it wasn't just to get a pump and then to move on, which most projects use the marketing for. Unfortunately, in this space, you can see that we went to London, we went to Spain, we went to Dubai, we went to Istanbul. We had 8 global football clubs. We had F1 racing, as I said. But recently, you can go through all of this. We were on television here. I showed you the commercial. Recently, we launched a Chinese-focused campaign. So there are 700 million gamers in China. We have Valhalla coming. We launched a campaign on BTalk. Our Chinese Telegram group has grown from just under 100,000 to over 130,000 in the last month. We are developing a Chinese version of Valhalla. So Valhalla will be in Chinese. Our white paper is now in Chinese. We will specifically target that market. By the way, Valhalla has esports built in on the blockchain. So I hope that you can see the bigger vision for Floki, what Saber has in mind as we build products that are innovative, that people use, and then take them out there so that people may use them. Nothing that I say is a forward-looking statement. It's not about the price of the Floki token. It's simply about building the best game, the best locker, the most innovative products we can, and onboarding as many users into our ecosystem as we possibly can. So that's really it. It's a vision to make sure that Floki, I said at the top of the hour, our goal is to make Floki the most known and used crypto brand in the world. We aren't messing about.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Cobra Kai, for the in-depth explanation about your global marketing. Thank you. And now, one of the highlights of the event, a moment that I'm sure I'm not alone in saying this, that we've all been waiting for, is to see Project Matthew, which is one of the newest releases from Binary X. So without further ado, 2 seconds. Rudy, welcome back. I'll share your screen for Project Matthew now. As well, Rudy, obviously before you've kept pretty strictly to times, so thank you. So do feel free maybe just to go over a little bit, if you want, to explain Project Matthew, which we're all looking forward to. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. So I actually live in Asia, and it's like 4 a.m. right now. But
I'm sorry.
The last few nights I have been playing the game. It's currently on beta test. So we have been working very hard with our internal community as well as our game developers, putting on the final touch and incorporating the feedbacks that we are receiving. Potentially, we can go to open beta launch soon, or even launch, so just stay tuned. But right now I'll be able to share some parts of the game with you that is available. Some game modes are still in the works. So Project Matthew is sort of a space simulation game where one of the elements is, of course, really building your base in this planet called Matthew. So it's one of my favorite movie, The Martian, by Matt Damon. So I think it's something like, growing your space food, building and producing, industries, factory and things like that, solar panels of sort. So I think one of the key elements here are the different tokens and NFTs that we are incorporating to this game. One of the NFT is land, which is what we call home base here. So as you can see, there are different available land where you can build on as you start off the game. Some lands are, generally more, for instance, how far are you from the open market, right? How long do you need to send your spaceship out to sell your goods and come back? So that as well on its own is an attribute. Some of them takes a while, like 5 minutes here. There are different rarities that affects that. Each grid is then surrounded by 4 other grids here. So for instance, this one you're surrounded by 2, water base, which means plants will do really well. There are some that, do really well. There's like electricity grids built in. So you generally don't have to build as much batteries, for instance. So let's go into one of these worlds. I'll turn on the music. Just stop me if it gets too loud or there's any reverb. Oh God.
It sounds like I've entered a theme park. It's very impressive.
It's one of those games that you can play super casually as well. Just check in from time to time. It's sometimes I just leave it on and like just chill. Oh, this is odd.
Hopefully, 2-1.
Live demos are the worst, right?
Honestly, this is, the sort of, pre-release beta type thing. Obviously, you need an invitation code at the moment. So, this is what, whoa, carry on.
Yeah, yeah, of course, this was the screen that I skipped, but it's not just going to be one planet. We will have a lot more, and we will incorporate more gameplays. Let me just log in again quickly. Hopefully. Oh, yeah, I added a screen.
And while this is happening, what do users or people that want to play the game, what do they have to do at the moment? Can they download it, or do they need an invitation code? Oh, wow, this is actually good. Yeah, this looks good.
So we are currently in closed beta. If you go under our website, you will see Matthew beta test. You can actually apply to be whitelisted as a beta tester for the closed beta. We periodically, add more players to the game. Really depends on our server and how many players are playing. That's one. Eventually we are headed towards open beta where anyone should be able to download and just start the game off. So yeah, I think this is the NFT home base that we have entered. So if you look, it's surrounded by water, which means trees in general, one of the base ingredients here, materials for many things to come, as well as corn, which is synthetic corn everywhere. So in general, you can build in two two tracks, one in agriculture and one in industrial. Many a times they are sort of interlocked, right? You need sort of an energy refinery in general to produce energy for your spacecraft situated here, to sell stuff. So for instance, you need to have 10 of these corn kernels to sort of send this spaceship up to sell stuff. And it takes about 4 minutes for you to earn. So that's one currency, gold here. So gold in general allows you to build stuff. So the game utilizes robots as well. So when you're offline, you can actually use these robots to, they will continue harvesting till storage is full. So I'm building an agriculture robot because I have a bunch of corn here to be collected. I will probably build a logging robot as well because there are trees and we got to cut them down. And these are storage equipments. So this is the first part of the game. Let's try to speed run this to the battle. So we added, these tasks. The first crypto game that we built wasn't very, user-oriented, user-focused in terms of the gameplay side. Well, we do realize that these things are extremely important. The ramping up of new players, the tutorials, the content. In fact, there are lots of content that we are planning. For instance, right, there is a pool in the middle, right? As a new player, you probably wouldn't know about this, right? You probably read a bit, but you are not sure of what's the effect of this. So for instance, we can build synthetic trees. Assuming you build a synthetic tree here, which is out of range of this pool. Hopefully this is not pool. This is a mine, so it's fine. You will see that, the trees require water. And one of these bots will have to come here and wait for water to be produced, and he will deliver the water. But in terms of synergy, assuming you build trees within range of this, or even tree grids from this terrain here, generally your tree starts producing immediately. Oh, sorry, this is only one. We need to go nearer. Let's go nearer. We can break debris in the map to get nearer. So this one works 3 grids. As you go 1 grid further from the middle, you reduce the effect. So now it's 4. So it only needs to deliver 1. And if you build it beside this water, for instance, you will get even more effect because now this one gives 1 around and this one gives 4. Trees here will be more efficient. There's a lot more. For instance, if you're going the industrial track and you're building, ores, iron ore or coal, you're going for, building, mining silicon and stuff, building silicon chips eventually, and solar panels. These are the real money maker here, and it's really, you can be super optimized to get your way there, or that will require you to do some homework beforehand, knowing the terrains, knowing the synergy. In fact, certain buildings such as the food processing plant here, if you it creates shade as a building. So if you build it beside your cornfield, your cornfield efficiency will reduce. And if I create something that produces contaminant, the food processing plant, efficiency will drop. So there are all these little things out there that, and given, the limit on space, you have to make really smart decisions. You might not want to produce everything and, really focus on having enough. So that's the first aspect of the game. Next, oh man, we need to get this done first before we jump into the battle part of the game. So it's a bit of auto chess involved as well for the second part. So now we are talking about space explorations, combat, beyond this part of the game, right? This part of the game to me can be super chill. You come back every now and then to collect your resources, build more storage so that your robots can, continue picking up stuff when you're off. In terms of sending your ships out, because you have limited energy blocks to send your ship out, and it takes a while sometimes. So you might want to come back every now and then to start selling stuff to clear up storage as well. So now we can produce the last con. So you start with 9, and then now with 10 you can sell. And then, can I show you the battle? Yeah. So there's another currency called Matthew Coin. So this is a cryptocurrency right now that is yet to launch. As you play the game, as you progress through the game, you start picking up fragments, meteorite fragments, as you go out for your space exploration. These are the ones where you can convert them into, cryptocurrencies called Matthew Coin. And these Matthew Coins allow you to do, recruitment, for instance, of soldiers, robots, to sort of help you with your space exploration. There are a few planets that were designed. The option generally comes up after this coin is built. So unfortunately, it's gonna wait. What else can I talk about in the meanwhile? I think,
yeah. Rudy, we might need to start moving on to the next person if that's possible. So I mean, if you've got any sort of things that you'd like to showcase as the final thing, that'll be great if possible.
I think I could just sit here and go on, but in general, I think if you're interested, do come to our website, sign up for the whitelist. We are actively, opening up slots, like I mentioned, and we are, working with different communities, gaming communities out there, so we can actually give, BSC News a bunch of beta tester slots as, sort of a gift. So yeah, I think that's all for the game sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Honestly, really good stuff. And we will be contacting you about some of those invitation codes, and look forward to getting into some corn kernels, some food production places. And thank you very much, Rudy. Honestly, really interesting indeed. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, and also guests, I do apologize that this is overrun quite a bit. When we do this again, we'll obviously adjust the timings appropriately. However, finally, but certainly not least by a long, long mile, we have Tars. I assume that's short for Tarzan, but welcome back, Tarzan. Great to have you here, and apologies again that this has gone on a little bit longer than it should have done.
No worries at all. And your assumption is spot on, sir. But yeah, I guess in closing here for ApeSwap, one of the things that I wanted to touch on is just sort of some clarity that we've been able to, I guess, get for ourselves, and it's been really, really helpful in the way that sort of we see ourselves in the market, and then therefore kind of what we do about it, if that makes sense. And so what I mean by that is, 2022 was tough. It was a tough year for a lot of reasons, and obviously the crypto market did not do super well over the span of the year. And like I mentioned kind of earlier when I was going on and on about treasury bills, that's when that product came. That's when we built that product, and it was sort of an answer to the bear market. But if I'm being perfectly honest, for us at ApeSwap, I think the bear market was kind of a double-edged sword in the sense that it was very, very painful, in the sense that, at our peak, we had $750 million in TVL, and currently have about, 70 million. And so, us, like so many projects, saw a major downturn, whether it was in volume or TVL or market cap, et cetera, throughout the year. But I say it's a double-edged sword in the sense that it really did force us to take a step back and look at our business model and realize, look, if this only works in a bull market, then does this work? Right? Because this is a volatile market. And so, we were back to the drawing board. We came up with what we came up with. And honestly, it has completely reshaped pretty much the way that we do everything. And we're really, really thankful for it. And so at this point, the way that we see I think it's matured us would be a good way of looking at it. And I think the way that we look at ourselves now, I think maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago, if we were sharing the same stage with Trader Joe, obviously it's a major honor, but then there's a little bit of like, well, hey, they're a DEX, we're a DEX. Is this a competitor of ours, or what's going on here? And I think that would be an immature way of looking at it, because in reality, the way that we see ourselves now is we are in such a unique place to sort of interact with virtually every single business vertical. And at the end of the day, the only competition that we really have is the fact that there are forces at work that are trying to destroy what we all love and care about deeply. And that's the financial freedom that DeFi allows. And not financial freedom in the sense of everybody makes millions of dollars, but financial freedom in the sense of the freedom to transact when and how and where you please. And, if we can all band together and continue to push that forward, I think that's clearly, the move here. And so for us at ApeSwap, we are a bunch of monkeys who like to have fun. For example, like you said, Tarzan, give me a break. But, the other side to that coin is that, we are a very, very data-driven and serious DeFi protocol that at this point has an expertise in sustainability and trying to rein in token emissions and set people up for long-term success. And if we can help do that for virtually anyone in the market, whether it's our good friends Floki, who we've been working with for a long time, or whether, maybe it's some new friends that we're just meeting today on this stage, Binary X, for example, and so we just see ourselves essentially as very, very blessed that we're able to be sort of at the center in the least centralized way possible of a beautiful, decentralized ecosystem, and that we can offer our support to virtually anybody who needs it. So yeah, that's where we see ourselves. We have a ton of exciting things coming. I don't want to just be purely philosophical here. For people that do want a small leak of some kind, one thing that we talked about back in December, and it's something that we're iterating on and working on very heavily right now, is a new tokenomics plan for ApeSwap. So our main token is Banana. We have our governance token GNANA. Back in December, we leaked the term XGNANA, and more details are coming down the pipeline very, very soon, as well as our V3 we just announced yesterday or 2 days ago, maybe it was, but we just announced our V3 will be launching on April 4th. It's essentially our take on concentrated liquidity that we're extremely excited about. And yeah, we're hyped about the future. You know, this is an exciting industry, and yeah, we're just happy to be able to be a part.
Fantastic, Taz. Well, thank you again. Obviously, yeah, your outlook for the future, your the way that you're approaching or business within ApeSwap is, I think, exemplary. And it goes back to the old saying, a banana a day keeps the bulls away. And if you haven't already noticed, I'm not sure if viewers have noticed, you can see that I'm wearing the unofficial merch of ApeSwap. This is by, I think, a brand called A Bathing Ape. I do actually have an ape profile picture as well. Hold on 2 seconds. It's this. Wait a sec. There we go. So that is my unofficial ApeSwap fan club merchandise. So long live ApeSwap. But thank you very, very much, Taz. And obviously, yeah, you were the final of our guests sort of in this last section. So thank you. And to all of our guests now, I'm just going to bring you up, everyone right here. Thank you all so much for what you've said tonight. And apologies once again, it did go on. And also, I'd just like to thank as well a person who does a lot behind the scenes, who doesn't often, get thanked. And I've actually brought him on screen now. You don't need to say anything if you don't want at all. But Dan, who organizes a lot of the events, as well as another one of my colleagues called Drew. Thank you, you guys, as well. But Blue, Rudy, Taz, and Cobra, thank you very, very much for speaking to us tonight. And obviously, listeners, thank you as well for tuning in. It's been an epic sesh, they say. Great. Well,
Pleasure.
Good.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for hosting. Thanks to all the listeners, and yeah, pleasure to be up on stage with the fellow speakers as well.
Thank you, and lovely accent, by the way. Anyway, good night, everyone, and speak very, very soon. Thank you very much again.